Hi there everyone, so today I'm going to talk about feeding my roses. This is a spring feed that I do once I've done the pruning, usually around the beginning of March I look to do this. Generally most of my roses are in pots, and so this is what I do for roses potted and in the ground. I do similar sorts of things really. There's a couple of feeds that I use. I'm not necessarily recommending any of this, but it's something that these two products are things that I've found to work for myself relatively well. So the first one is just to give roses a general feed. It's a Vitax feed. Now you can get a few different varieties of these. Usually the labels on the front say for specific plants, so you'll get them for hydrangeas, clematis, azaleas. This one is for olive tree. This is an olive tree feed. But what I tend to look at is on the back of the pack, it will tell you what is actually in the feed. So if I just show you that packet. So first of all, it tells you the NPK there, but it also tells you the elements that are in the feed. So this one has boron, copper, iron and manganese, and the percentage rates there, as well as the NPK rates, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium levels. So as you can see, this one has got quite high levels of the nitrogen, which will help with the green growth, and then it's also got a fair bit of potassium, which will help with flowering. I've found that these products, if you actually look at this information on the back of the packet, some of the packets are fairly similar. So the olive tree feed is fairly similar to the azalea feed, and it actually compares with the old David Austin rose feed that they used to supply. They've changed theirs recently to a once a year feed, which releases throughout the year. It's like little round pellets, whereas this is more of a looks very similar to this, which I'll come on to in a minute, but it compares sort of NPK wise and with the trace elements. The trace elements compare to a similar level. I prefer the azalea one. That's a lot closer than the olive tree, but the shop that I bought this from had only got the olive tree. But so I'm going to give this a try. This is the first time this year, but it has got those same trace elements in, which will hopefully help the roses, and it's a good NPK on there as well. So we'll give that a go this year and see what results we get. I've just opened the bag there. You can see they're like little pellets, and you put about 30 grams around each plant. So I've got this little scoop here that I know is 10 grams. I've measured that out myself and weighed that. So 3 of those scoops just around each plant that's fairly healthy will help. So I'll show that in a little while. The second thing that I feed with sometimes in spring is alfalfa pellets. Now I don't mix the two generally. I use one or the other because this is okay on its own really. The alfalfa pellets, you need to use more, I would say. I'll probably use a third of that jug. That's a 1 litre jug, and I would use probably about a third, maybe just a little bit more than that of that jug around one plant. Again, I'll show you that in a little while. But what I tend to do, what I tend to use these on, is plants that are struggling a little bit, where they're not necessarily growing very well. I will tend to use the alfalfa pellets. It's got something called triacontanol in it, I believe. I think that's the name. And that's been shown to encourage basal breaks on roses. So where I've got a plant that I've had to prune very hard, or a plant that's maybe only got 1 or 2 stems and is really struggling, I will put this around it. And I have found, I've been using this probably about two or 3 years now, and I have found that it does tend to increase the basal breaks, and also helps helps the roses break from older wood. So I'll go out in the garden now and show you what I do with the rose feeds. So this is a David Austin rose called Summer Song. I've had this rose 2 years, and the growth has always been quite weak on it. So what I'm going to do is try and put the alfalfa pellets on this rose to see if it will give it a boost. So I just scatter them around the plant there. I've cleared the weeds off the surface of the compost before doing this. And you can see there I've used probably just under half of the jug there. And what I do with this is I just mix it in with the top level of soil. I found that if you leave the pellets on the surface, when they get wet, they'll expand, and what will actually happen is they almost form like a crust on the top surface of the soil. So I have just started to mix this into the top surface just to try and stop that crust forming, because the pellets do expand. They expand probably two or three times the size of what they are here, and they do form a crust, and then it dries, and then it's difficult to water the plants. I'm also going to try these on a few other plants. This is the Boscobel rose that I've shown in a previous video. We've got Molyneux here, and these are all plants that have struggled a little bit and need a bit of a boost, and hopefully some new basal breaks from the bottom. This is a rose called Josephine. I've only got 2 main canes on there at the moment. This one is Eustacia Vi, and then we've got Natalia that's down to 2 main canes. So I'm just hoping that the alfalfa pellets will bring along some new basal breaks and help the plants to get some better, stronger growth from the base. This is rose Bring Me Sunshine. As you can see, there's lots of stems on this rose already growing. It's very healthy plant, was very healthy last year, grew very well. So just giving this one the olive tree feed, just as a general fertilizer, really, and just to give the plant a bit of a boost, and put on some good strong growth, and hopefully encourage lots of flowers this year. So as you can see, I'm just mixing the pellets just into the top layer of the soil, just so they don't wash into one space within the pot. I use this feed on roses that are in the ground as well. Generally scatter them within a 12-inch radius of the centre of the plant when they're in the ground. Just make sure everything's cleared away from the main stems of the plant to make sure that the feed can get down to the roots. And then what I like to do is just top off with just a little bit of mulch. This is just multi-purpose compost, just to top up the pots, really. Just cover over that feed, just to make sure that it doesn't wash away. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you have. Thanks for watching.